Hello, parents. Welcome to Open House. My name is Bob Simber, and I teach sixth grade language arts, all of sixth grade, and I teach half of seventh with Mr. Stahl. He teaches the other half, and I am going to show you what we do for Open House. And I've been part of St. Margaret for this is my third year here at St. Margaret, and I teach language arts, as I said. How I organize my day, month, and semester is I usually have a rough unit plan of what we are doing, and they have different sort of steps in the lessons. And usually I design lessons by the week. I've also been doing it by the day. For instance, sixth grade during the argumentative unit, I usually do it by day because there's usually more assistance, there's more accommodations and modifications, and also scaffolding that's needed in order to uh, sort of check for understanding during these times because it is a really difficult unit. So more difficult units usually by day. If they're more confident units, such as like the novel study, reading The Outsiders, or the dystopian unit when there's a lot of reading, a lot of times the timelines for planning will be more in the weekly fashion. The next question, in broad terms, I prepare my students for the next area of high school. By sixth grade, really is there's a lot of argumentative and essay writing as far as organization. So they learn the five paragraph essay, the very traditional organization and structure of that. And then also, obviously, in both sixth and seventh grade, of really preparing them for harder texts, harder in complexity, harder in lexile scores, really preparing them for Shakespeare and things that they'll maybe encounter in high school when they're freshmen, and if they're going to AP route, even some more advanced text there with understanding. And so, really trying to really push them into higher levels of thinking instead of the we like to call it in education the lower levels of Bloom's taxonomy. I'm trying to push them into more creative creating and synthesizing information, some of those higher levels. How can I the curriculum for sixth grade is it focuses on five different things. The curriculum focus on it's speaking and listening, writing, uh, language, informational text, and literary text. Sorry, I did that all by memory. So broadly speaking, they focus on all of those things. Sixth grade, I love to focus on for language. I like to focus on Greek and Latin root words. So it has a really wide application for using it for context clues for words that students don't understand. For seventh grade, they have a more domain vocabulary. So if we are doing, for instance, Intro to Dystopian Literature and reading Fahrenheit 451 or The Giver, they will get domain vocabulary either from the text or some academic terms that are used that are associated with dystopian literary discussions. How do I foster a sense of inclusion and community? I really just try to be engaging. I really try to bring high energy. We really, I really try to broaden inclusivity through the text that we use. Uh, for example, using text from the civil rights and literature unit in sixth grade will kind of build a background of different authors and writers that have different perspectives. Eudora Welty, some of the Harlem Renaissance writers from New York, implementing these different voices into the classroom. And seventh grade, I do that as well, especially with Anne Frank, her experiences during the Holocaust when we do literature during the Holocaust, and traditional some other non-traditional writers, such as Margaret Atwood's "A Letter Found in a Time Capsule on a Dead Planet," that beautiful short story that she read with dystopian literature. That has really sort of this call out to nations about trying to change climate control and climate change, and there's a lot of different aspects that we can focus on through that piece of writing as well. As far as sharing my faith, I'm kind of the philosophy that really faith is for application, faith is for action. And so I really try to exhibit that in the classroom and try to be enthusiastic about telling students that knowing and knowledge is really great and it is an end in itself, but also the ability to apply the knowledge is a very important thing to do. So acting out your faith is very important. The best part of my job, and we were talking about this earlier at the staff meeting, is the amount of freedom that I get as a teacher. And I know that I'm fortunate to have that because it's not the same in other schools. Definitely not. I know some colleagues that work for, other districts and some other schools that there's more stress placed on strict guidelines. And I know at St. Margaret, it's really cool because as long as we're following and hitting the targets, we really have open creativity for how we wish to do that. And I really appreciate that. And that's something that I would say is the best thing about working here. The best about part about being part of SMOS is I would definitely say the parents are very encouraging. Generally, they are very supportive. They're very responsive. And coming from a public school, working in Parkway for a year before I came here to St. Margaret, there is more of a parental involvement, which is really kind of a cool thing to see because you see it trickle down into the academics a lot, especially in language arts. And I read a study recently that said that the reading level and fostering reading in the home is one of the key indicators for success in academics and education. And so it's really cool to see that manifesting in the classroom and sort of seeing that work. So I hope this was kind of a broad overview, general about open house, and I hope you go on to some of your some of the next teachers, and hopefully they can tell you a little bit more about the programs. And I hope you have a great day. All right, bye.